Hello everyone, so I'm doing a different kind of YouTube video today. So I've just found out last week that this year's Children in Need theme is why positive relationships matter. So I've just come on, so I'm a massive fan of Children in Need. They were one of the first major grant funding funders that we had back in 2012, and they gave us funding to run targeted intervention for mental health interventions in the community for 2 years, and we ran several group work programs with at-risk young people in Colville and Leicestershire. And it was a wonderful project, and we were really grateful to Children in Need. So I'm always an advocate for them and their work, and support the campaign every year. And so this year, Children in Need is on the 17th of November 2023. If you're watching this in the future. However, I'm going to talk about positive relationships, and the theme is why positive relationships matter. So anyone that knows me or my work will know that every time I talk about developing mental health and wellbeing interventions for children and young people, I always say start with positive relationships. So I've come onto the Children in Need website and having a look at their website, and it's really good, their theme of positive relationships. So just some general information why they matter more than anything. So I always say that positive relationships are the container for any other wellbeing intervention that you're going to be doing. So the positive relationship is the intervention as much as any other tool or strategy or resource that you do to improve children and young people's mental health and wellbeing. And it's my opinion, and through my academic research and through all the work that we've been doing over the years with thousands of young people and hundreds of schools and organisations that work with children and young people, is that a coaching type of positive relationship, that coaching is the pedagogy for facilitating positive relationships. Now, there are other methodologies and other approaches, and they're all as equally valid, but my passion is positive psychology coaching as the way of facilitating positive relationships that act as a container and an amplifier for all other wellbeing interventions based on positive psychology that are made accessible and engaging for children and young people. So you may be doing wellbeing interventions like gratitude or mindfulness or strength or resilience or emotional regulation, and they are all wellbeing strategies that fit within positive relationships that enable you to then support the direct wellbeing of children and young people. But first of all, we need these positive relationships that act as a container and a facilitator of wellbeing in general. So why do we need them? So Children in Need website's got some really alarming statistics. Mental health challenges have increased by 50% in the last few years, mainly due to COVID and the cost of living crisis. I know from speaking to schools on a regular basis that this is a problem that they are telling me is getting worse all the time. So Children in Need carried out a survey asking 2,501 parents of children aged 11 to 18 to explore issues relating to children's mental health. They found 20% believe that children's overall happiness and wellbeing has worsened, with 24% of parents saying they felt worried about their own children's future. That's bad, isn't it? And I think parents feel powerless to help. So this isn't about teacher and student relationships. This is about all kinds of relationships that we can have with children and young people. This is why we advocate for a peer-to-peer led intervention approach with children supporting each other, but also all staff in schools and settings that work with children and young people knowing how to facilitate positive relationships. And some of it is just effective practice that you do anyway because you're naturally good at working with children and young people, but amplifying that on purpose. This is about intentional activity that improves wellbeing, and knowing how to do that and knowing what works. Basically, this is Children in Need's campaign to support positive relationships. There's loads of free stories and resources on their website, so have a look at that. So let me go back to the top. So what I want to say about this is, don't underestimate the power of positive relationships. There are practical things that you can do to amplify positive relationships, such as active listening, empathy, restorative approaches, kindness. I have a whole video on kindness as a really simple way of improving positive relationships. Eliciting positive emotions during the experience of that relationship. So celebrating pride and amusement and awe and inspiration, and you acting as a role model of positive relationships with children and young people. And that's why it's so important that we look after staff's well-being and staff's mental health, because they are the conduit towards well-being interventions with children and young people, and every interaction matters. And I read some research a while back that said teachers have around 1,000 interactions a day. So if your teachers are not very well and they have high stress and they are not having positive relationships, then they are that's going to have a knock-on effect to the children and young people, because, as I've said already, well-being is facilitated through relationships and interactions. Also, positive relationships are the R in the search framework. So I have a video on the search framework, which I'll link to. And the search framework uses relationships as an intervention, but relationships are the container for all other wellbeing interventions. So just really pleased to see this as at the forefront of the campaign. I also think we can get very fearful about mental health and wellbeing stuff generally, because it's got a lot of stigma. People think, they hear the word mental health and they think problem rather than the presence of health. They think of the absence of health. So, and having positive relationships and being able to socially connect and have good friendships and all those things are essential to flourish. And by flourishing, we mean feeling good, functioning well day to day and overall. And the functioning well part means that we have the ability to have positive relationships, form them, and the feeling good part means that we can feel good in the relationships that we have with our friends. We have love and we have connection and we have belonging and we have support. All are highly essential to maintain our well-being and protect against the onset of mental health problems. So just some thoughts on the theme of positive relationships with children in needs campaign this year. Get behind the campaign. It's on the 17th of November, and which is the end of anti-bullying week. So all like links together. So I've also got a video on anti-bullying and kindness day, all happening on the same week, which is very exciting, but all really related, all really linked, and can be used as part of any promotion that you're doing in your school for mental health and wellbeing. So I'll see you again soon.